Hello, everybody. My name is Nancy McLaren, and I consider myself one of Katie Porter's greatest fans. For those of you who don't know who Katie Porter is, she is a House of Representatives. She's a representative from Irvine in California. And she has been really sticking it to some of the CEOs and pharma guys that have come up in front of her during hearings. She's famous for using a whiteboard and drawing on it. And I am a former teacher, so whiteboards are my thing too. However, my writing on whiteboards is ridiculously bad. So I have set up these whiteboard screens for you so we can go through this quickly. What I'm doing is I'm starting this, I'm calling it the Katie Porter Income Inequality Posse. The idea is that because we only see what she does in Congress if it goes viral and if it happens to show up on our screens. And I'll bet it doesn't show up on some people's screens, a lot of people's screens. So I got this idea that, well, I know how to do this on Zoom. Why don't I, research some stuff and put it up? And then I thought, wouldn't it be better if I could get other people, normal people like us, to do this, and we could be a posse. We could go out there and we could, you know, take it to the people. What's really going on in this country? There are three things I think that are wrong with this country right now. I mean, big, big, big things. I mean, there's plenty of things, but the three big things are climate change, the mental health crisis, and income inequality. And Katie has taken a no holds barred, hands on approach to dealing with income inequality. Unfortunately, she tells these things to CEOs who I don't think have any shame. Because if they had any shame at all, they wouldn't be making 400,000 times more than their lowest paid employee. It's just not okay. The charging double for a pill that cancer patients need when you haven't done anything to it in 4 years. It's just all of a sudden it's doubled in price. And that was one of the CEOs she took on. But I don't think those people are going to be moved by shame. What we need to do is get the population mad. We need to get them mad. We need to show them in black and white, in numbers, exactly what income inequality means to them. So, with that said, I decided I would start with something I know about, which is the teaching environment, the public school environment. And I was a public school teacher, a high school teacher in, what's happened to me last time? In the Medford School District. There we go. And that's down in Southern Oregon where I live. I live in Portland now, but that's where I worked. And I looked up the superintendent salary, who's the biggest mucky muck. They wouldn't give me they gave me a ballpark, and so I picked right in the middle. So the superintendent, he or she can go up to $250,000. Well, the teacher salaries in the same district a starting teacher gets 38,000, as you can see here, and the highest paid teacher gets 74,000. And how you get to the $74,000 is you have a number of years going down one side and number of credits past a BA going the other way. And then you hit a wall. Once you've got a PhD or enough credits, that I had enough credits for a PhD, but I had an MFA instead, but it was still the same amount of credits. So I hit the wall. And the only way that I could then continue to get more money is yearly. So we're going to talk about the 30-year gap between when I became a teacher at the highest paid level versus what it would have been like now. So the starting salary makes $38,000. So that is 5 times lower than 181,000. That's 5 times lower. So that gap is huge. The best paid teacher only cuts that in half at 2.5 times lower. My experience is that the further away people got from the actual kids that you were supposed to be teaching, the more money they made. I've lost teachers, good teachers, to becoming administrators because they can make more money. And that is not what a school should be doing. The emphasis should always be on the teacher and the student. What's best for the student? And in every study ever done, it says the best thing for a student is to have less kids in their class. So that means more teachers. So for 1 year of a superintendent salary, we could have had 5 more teachers in that school. It's not enough, but it's better. Okay, so I said I was going to talk about me because I'm going to give you I want people to have real results, know what they're talking about. Oh, why does that keep doing that? I thought I was at the beginning of this. Okay, here's my salary difference. When I started in 1993, like I said, I made $40,000. That was without my extracurricular. With it, I made $45,000. So extracurriculars don't pay much. 30 years later, my salary would not have even doubled. I would have been getting 185% of my original salary. It wouldn't have even doubled. It would go to 74,000. I don't know what you think is a good number for people to make, but $74,000 in 2023 is not enough to live on in most places. It would not be enough to live on in Medford. It's certainly not enough to live on in Portland. Maybe there's some places that $74,000 goes a long way, but not any place on the West Coast for sure. So it would only be 140%. Oh, now it's going the right way. Okay, so this is my living arrangements. This is what I try to show people, the difference between salary increase over 30 years and living expenses over 30 years. In 1993, I bought a condo in Ashland, Oregon, which actually is pretty upscale, but it's 15 minutes from Medford, for $80,000. The bank at that time told me I could spend $100,000 with my salary of 40. And I chose to not use the whole amount because I didn't want to be cash poor. I was raising a boy by myself, and this little condo was small, but it was perfect for us. It had 2 big bedrooms and a bath upstairs, and then a half bath and a living room kitchen downstairs. It had a small, tiny deck, and that was it. It did not have a wash and dryer. It had no way that you could ever add on to it because it was a corner unit, and there was no way to add anything to it. However, and I'm going to add that my bring home pay was about $3,200, which seems it was enough because my mortgage was only $720, and that was only 22% of my paycheck. So I was in the range that normally banks want to see you. 25% of your take home pay is what you should be spending on your housing. In 1993, for me, that was true. Now, the same condo sold a couple years ago. I saw it on Zillow. I was kind of following it for $379,000. Same exact condo, same exact size, the 2 bedrooms, 1 bath. It was the same condo. And not a lot had been done to it for it to be worth $379,000. Now, this was a condo community that didn't have a pool, it didn't have a playground, it was very small, there was only 24. So it wasn't like somehow they'd put in some big amenities. I mean, I don't think there was even room for there to be a gym. We had carports, we didn't even have garages. $379,000 for that exact same condominium. That's an increase in price of $300,000. That's a lot of money. That price is a whopping 4.7 times that of 1993. In other words, the cost of housing grew 470%. 470%. That is insane. So the problem is my salary, if I had stayed in 30 years, would have only increased 185%, not even double. But my house, the house I wanted to buy, if I wanted to buy it at that time, would be 470% more. I mean, if I'd kept the condo, it would have been great. But people don't do that anymore for 30 years. I do not know how a teacher nowadays, especially just a single teacher, could buy anything, because I bought what I thought was the most, it was a beautiful little condo, but it was nothing fancy. And I don't know how they could even buy that in Medford or Ashland or Portland or wherever you live. In Portland, the average cost of a house now is about $600,000-$700,000. How? Who is the salary for that? People don't, and people don't have the money to pay their taxes because now the taxes are increased. It's crazy, and it's really added a lot to all of our problems with the homeless. And this is why my son, who's 32 years old, who has a college degree, who's worked in the same profession for over 10 years, cannot even live in an apartment by himself. So this was what I picked, and I hope that that was clear. Again, this is me. Hi, you finally see me. Um, I'm nothing special. Um, I just know how to use Zoom, and I'll be happy to teach you. In the captions of whatever where this goes on YouTube or whatever, I'll have my contact information. And that way, if you would like to do this and you want more information, you don't need to come to me. If you already figured out how to do it, do it. Just put it out there. But if you do need some help with how to do Zoom, they do have a free plan, as long as you don't go over 45 minutes, which God forbid we do. It's a free plan, and the whiteboard comes attached, and I can show you all about how to use the whiteboard and set up your numbers. So please come and join me at Katie Porter's Income Inequality Posse, and let's see if we can get the word out for why there is so much homelessness and people who can't buy houses and despair, basically, that the American dream is not possible. It's not possible for people that run communities. The people who run communities, fire people, police people, teachers, nurses, without those four categories, well, then you have your sanitation engineers and your librarians. I mean, without those people, we don't have a community. We just have high rent and a couple of nice restaurants. So, what happens when those people can't live within an hour commute? I don't know. That's the question. Okay, thanks for listening or watching. If you did, if you didn't, all right, I'll see you next time. Bye.